Hi everyone, welcome to my dining room, which has been turned into my office here at home. I'm sure many of you are working from similar situations in that you're back home with your parents or in with some roommates in another place away from campus. I can only imagine how disconcerting this entire situation is for everyone. Most importantly, I want to make sure everybody's okay, and if you're having any kind of food insecurities issues or housing insecurity, please reach out to me in a private email right away, and that way I'll know what's going on with you, and I'd like to be able to help in whatever way I can. So that's my first priority where you're concerned. My second priority is trying to figure out how to get you through the rest of the semester as simply as possible and accomplish all of the learning outcomes that we set out for each one of my classes at the beginning of the semester. To make this all work, I've decided to use Blackboard Collaborate. I think it's going to work pretty well. It uses the same servers as Amazon uses for all of its business transactions, so I'm hoping it's going to be pretty stable. Then generally, I want to walk you through what my plan is for how this is going to work, and then we can meet and discuss this more in person. But for starters, I wanted to make sure that I was showing you how I was planning to use Blackboard Collaborate. So stand by just 1 second. Okay, here we are back on the University of South Carolina Blackboard interface. I'm just going to pick up one of my courses so that you can see where Blackboard Collaborate will live. So let's pretend you are in my intermediate reporting and production class. So here we are in there. You'll notice I've gone ahead and set up a tab for you in all caps called Collaborate. That way you'll be able to easily find it and you don't have to add it individually for yourself. So over the course of the semester, I have 2 separate sessions that you could consider joining at any particular time. I created an open session for every section of my classes. So for example, if you're taking my 471 reporting class, this is where we could meet in any kind of impromptu session where you might need me for some one-on-one time, or perhaps you'd like to collaborate with another classmate. These are options for us to get together as we need to, as if we're doing drop-in office hours outside of the regular class time. So if I send a message to you saying let's meet in open session, that's where we're talking about. Now separately, every hour of each scheduled class time, I will have a separate session. So for example, this particular class meets on Mondays and Wednesdays from 11:15 to 12:30. So starting this coming Monday, the 23rd, I will have class, I will convene class in this session. It's not open right now, so I won't go ahead and say it's been started. So I'm not going to go there right now. But I will do an hour of dedicated class time that will answer any questions that you have, give you some basic instruction, and hopefully you'll find that synchronous information helpful to you. If you can't join into our synchronous sessions, I will record each one of these so that you can watch it at another time, but please do try to watch it within 12 hours so that you can be on time with the projects that you're doing in class this semester. But so let me show you how this system works. I'm going to click on the open session because that will enable me to demonstrate all the tools. So I clicked on open and I'm going to join that session. Now I will have already sent you a URL link and I will send you a phone number link in case you need to do it that way. So when you log in, it's going to give you, ask you the question, is it okay to use your mic? You say yes, allow. Okay, can we collaborate with that? Yes, it's fine with me. And you'll notice right now I am the only one in the room. Right now then, I'm going to go down, I'm going to activate my sharing audio. And if you want to share video, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. So I'm going to go ahead and share video as well. And that will show you in a moment. It's going to say, am I allowed to do that? I say yes, and I'm going to share my video. So, hello, you see me again. Here I am down in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. When you join me, you may see me up in the center of the screen, but right now we're seeing me down in the bottom left. As people pop in, they will populate around the edges of the screen as well, around those edges. So this is going to be the tab that's most important for you. I'm going to click on Open Collaborate. So there are 4 different tabs down here. If anybody wants to send me a specific chat during the time we're talking, this is where you can do that. You can also do this, which is my preferred method of communication. I can have up at any given time the list of people who are attending that session. So as you can see, I'm the only one in the session at the moment. If you have a question for me as we're talking through this material, or you'd like to chime in our conversation, you can click this button to raise your hand, and you notice that I see that I've raised my hand, and the moderator, which is me, sees that you have a hand raised. That way I can come and check on you as soon as I finish my sentence or whatever I'm trying to communicate. If somebody else asks the same question and I answer that question, you can always take your hand down at any given time. So then there's also this other tab here for sharing content. You may notice that there are many features that you can share here. I can share a blank whiteboard, which enables me to pick a number of tools and draw with my little pencil tool. I can erase that. I can use a pointer and point to things. Here we go. There's my pointer to point to things. And I can select particular items on the board. I can also type, and let's say this is a test, right? So if we ever needed to collaborate in a board space, that would be one way that we could do that. I can also share an application on my computer. Now this is going to look a little funky at first, so I'm going to share my application screen. It's going to say, are you allowing that? I'm going to select my entire screen, and I'm going to allow that. So it's going to do something really weird. You see this telescoping thing that goes on forever and ever? If I just minimize my Blackboard session, you'll see that my screen pops up here, and then I can share anything else that I might want to share with you at any given time. So if I wanted to open a file and show you this document, I could open and show you this document, and it would record, or it would be up there for you to look at any time. So when you're done sharing your screen and you want to go back to Blackboard, you could just pull it back up from the bottom of your dock, or however it is that you have your screens organized. And then I can switch to perhaps share files, and that should give us a different look. And so I'm going to share files for a PowerPoint. Now, here's the thing about sharing files. You may notice now that I'm sharing my files, I'm going to back up here for just a moment. You see this file that's here? I will have wanted to add that file before I come to collaborate, just to save time and resources. You don't necessarily want to be dragging files into the share files while you're in the midst of collaborating, if you can help it. Generally speaking, it can take a little while to add these files in advance. So my recommendation is, if you want to join the session, add your files, and then they'll be ready to go when we come in and join that session together. Again, while I am in that particular program, I can advance. So in PowerPoint, for example, I can advance one screen at a time. But you may notice I'm not able to add on bullet points one at a time through this feature inside Blackboard Collaborate. If I wanted to be able to add one screen at a time or one bullet point at a time, I would need to go into the share applications screen, minimize my Blackboard screen, and open up the PowerPoint on my computer at home, and that way I would be able to advance one bullet point at a time for you there. So those are some of the primary features of this particular Collaborate software. The most important thing to know is at the end of this collaboration, when you're done collaborating, it's very important that you exit the session. So you'll find the exit button up here. Click on Open Session menu and click on Leave Session. And are you happy with that experience? I'd say, oh yeah, okay, that was generally good. It will ask you, I could see this, I couldn't see that. Maybe I'll say it's excellent and it won't ask me any questions and I will exit. So that does it for this particular training on how to use Blackboard Collaborate. If you have any questions and need me to go over some things with you one-on-one, I'd be happy to do that. You could just let me know, shoot me an email, and I will work to join you in open session and we can practice some of this together. If you feel like you have a pretty good handle on it, that's great. And I just would appreciate it if you would try to chime in about 10 minutes before our class session begins for this first session when we join each other during our regularly scheduled class time. That way we can troubleshoot any audio or video problems before they present an issue for us and we can get started with the semester.